Hey everybody, it's Rod with VPT. This is the Video Trade Journal screencast for the VPT Room Recap for Wednesday, November 12th, 2014. So a third slow day in a week, so all of the major averages kind of closed a whole lot of unchanged. The DAX was actually noticeably weak, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. So we started off the day with our CURPOS, our current positions, really not that changed, I don't think, at all. So we had Nugget, Yahoo, Qualcomm, X1 and Cyber. Picked up a few new things, which I'll talk about also in a moment. So again, kind of a flat day. There was this dramatic thing on the World Trade Center with some window washers that they were fortunately able to save. They cut the window open. That was kind of wild. And also from the non-news, you know it's a slow day in the markets, folks, when this Alexfromtarget story ends up making its way onto CNBC. So I don't know if you followed that, but what happens is it looks like 15-year-old girls run the internet, or at least they certainly rule social media. So let's take a quick look at a couple things. So after hours, Cyber, CYBR. I really wish they would post the after-hour prints on the TradingView, but they don't do that. You can see it's up about 13%. That's stock only, so that was a nice little pop. On the other side of that, we're long this X1, and now X1 is going to be right back down at our entry. So I'm going to be looking to pick up some more, likely tomorrow morning. I hope it even weakens up and gets below 18. If it can get it below 18, that will be a stock that I'll be watching. ACHN, we talked about, I had no position in this, really wish I had gotten in there around 12.5 or even 13. We talked today about if you're going to day trade stocks, the key to successfully day trading stocks, which in and of themselves are not levered. You can lever yourself, well, you can on margin, but pretty much you lever yourself by sizing, picking the right amount of shares that you're going to buy, whereas the futures and options are naturally levered instruments. So the key to being successful in day trading stocks, which I think is much, much harder than day trading things like futures, is picking the right ones and stocks that are moving. And when you have a low-cost stock and one that's having this kind of volume and activity, that's a great sign. So those are the kind of things we're going to point out in the VPT room. We'll get on those. We'll figure out some ways in which we can trade them in conjunction with our community. It was a little tough today because I was doing a bunch of other stuff. But the good news is we found the right target, and hopefully some folks were able to get in on that. We also talked about RIG. This is more of a bottom fishing, double bottom on the daily. You can see on some pretty decent volume that's been building up here for a while. So I guess the assumption is that they're never really going to drill for too much additional oil, given the fact that oil is on this major decline. So I'm playing that for the other side. Picked it up right at the lows at 27.12. I'm going to keep this on kind of a tight leash when you're at lows here. If we go to the weekly, I don't think we're going to get any difference here. I'm pretty sure this is some pretty substantial lows. Let's tighten that up. Yeah, I mean we're at real all-time lows here. So when you're at that level, what you got to do is do a risk-based stop. So based on the amount of risk. So I'm going to probably have about $1,500 to $2,000 worth of risk. So I'll talk about this in the room in terms of where my stops will be and then where my targets will be on the upside. My most natural target is usually on the daily. Let's go to the daily here. On the daily, 31.61, which is our 50-period moving average, is the first place that I look to take profits. And obviously, since that's a moving average, that's going to be a moving target a little bit. So we use dynamic targets there. On the Brickwick, also a whole lot of nothing. I did a little sim trading in the room to start the day. I think we ended up down like $1.81, and then later in the day was able to make a few trades profitably, and then took home just a small short here from 41.8950 in the Brickwick future. So taking that overnight. Ideally, they don't gap us up to 42 tomorrow, 4,200. That would be bad news bears. So about 48.60 in profit. Most of that came from this guy right here, which is that last piece of Qualcomm that we closed out. So I'm all flat on that Qualcomm 70 trade. That was a really nice trade. We went 4-0 on those particular levels. There's been some requests for overall P&L. Let me give you a little show of that. So this is net from 11.3. So we're just taking just the first part. So $2,660, $67.60. Well, that was a mouthful. You can see the daily results over here. We try not to focus too much on daily or even weekly results. I like to look at what's going on a monthly basis. And folks, this is one options account and two futures accounts that we're tracking in the Main Street Alpha Trade Journal for the purposes of the VPT Live Trade Room. So Todd was a little under the weather again. It was me solo. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow and we can have the banter back and forth, get the room sounding a little bit more like a trade floor. But if he's not healed up, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Let me take one last quick look at the journal and see if I'm missing anything. I don't think so. Oh, I wanted to pop over here. Just take a look tomorrow on the economic calendar. Kind of a full economic calendar. So about an hour before the open, we're going to have initial claims and continuing claims in this JOLTS job openings. That's something new to me. I'm not familiar with JOLTS job openings. Natural gas and crude inventories are going to be on the same day due to the holiday, and we'll hear a little bit about the Treasury budget in the afternoon. So I don't expect any of those things to be too significant of market makers. And then also I was just seeing here that as I'm making this video, looks like Cisco kind of rolled over from being positive initially to down. So that's kind of a big weight in the NASDAQ. We'll see what ends up happening. All right, well, we'll leave it there for now. This is Rod with VPT, reminding you to always trade like you mean it. We'll run it back tomorrow. See you there.